Just let the love, love, love begin.
Summer that we were 15 years old and we had gone to a youth conference. Now we did not grow up together. We were with two different churches, two different youth groups, but we ended up at the same youth conference out in
kind of like
Colorado.
Big Stuff. You guys have been to Big Stuff. It's sort of like that.
Mm-hmm. And I remember one of the nights, and I think it was on a Thursday, that we were challenged to, you know, commit our lives to the Lord, and God just really spoke to my heart big time there. And I remember going forward and just praying and saying, God, whatever you want from me, I will do it. And you know, I love you, and I will commit my life to serving you. On the same night, in the same conference, from two different churches, two different cities, that we both committed our lives to whatever God would have for us. And I think literally that's when our love story began.
Both of us then, when we got to college, ended up in some pretty serious relationships to the point that
we went to two separate schools. You went to
I went to a school out in New York City, and
with my identical twin sister. And
yeah,
I
so
went
that's
to
a
college in
different part of this that needs to be told. That is that I recognized her face when I met her for the first time, because I had been in school with her twin. But not only had I been in school with her twin had toured with me. We had done, I was part of a group in college that on the weekends would go and sing in different churches. And so we would travel, and she would play keyboard for us. So I knew her twin sister very, very well.
I just went, and so I met this group, and I remember Greg because he was the tall one, but we just met.
I then ended up going out to Western Pennsylvania, to a town just outside of Erie in my very first youth ministry, and had settled in there. And I got a note, this was back before email, before computers. So I got a note telling me that there was a new person in our area that was doing youth ministry. Now, I oversaw all of the youth ministries of our denomination in that area of Pennsylvania. And so it was my job to kind of say, hey, welcome to Western PA. Here's what we're doing youth ministry-wise in our area. We'd love to invite you to come up and be a part of things. Well, when I looked at it, I saw the note. The name was Sharon Riley. So I get a note telling me this is her. I write back a note saying, are you the same Sherry that's Mary Lou's twin?
So here I get this letter from Greg, because I didn't know how to say the last name, H-A-U-E-T-E-R. So I called up my sister and I said, Greg, and she said, Greg Howder, the tall one. I went, oh, Greg. And so we started writing back and forth. And I was a youth pastor about an hour south of where you
exactly
were.
An hour.
An hour south in Pennsylvania. And so we started writing back and forth.
I had a best friend set me up. My best friend was in the same church serving that I was in. And so he kind of knew, you know, that I was interested in Sherry. So what he did is he set up a dinner at his place. He and his wife invited Sherry up to sort of this impromptu, informal dinner that I just happened to show up to. Yeah, and that kind of began it. Yeah, if you ask me, do I remember the moment I fell in love with Sherry? I don't remember the moment. I don't remember a specific thing. Even as I was getting ready for today, I was thinking, geez, was there a moment, a look, a time when you knew? Well, I don't remember a specific time. There were a lot of things that we did. We combined our youth groups and took a trip to Minnesota to the college that Sherry had grown up to. It was all, or gone to, all these combined experiences of dating and sharing common interests and our love for the Lord that, you know, it was a gradual thing. I literally fell in love. There wasn't a moment that struck me and said, you know, I love her. I knew by the point that it came to ask your dad for your hand that obviously I was in love with you. And so Sherry was serving in her church. I was serving in my church. I asked her to marry me in Washington, D.C. We were actually at a conference together, and her dad happened to be there. And asked her dad for permission to marry her. And so the next day, I had this all set up. We were going to go to this really nice bench right across the river from the Jefferson Memorial.
And so we pull over, and it's starting to drizzle and rain. He's like, oh, let's just come out here and sit. And I am not going to come out here and sit in the rain, for crying out loud. You just made me drive through all this traffic. I'm not sitting in the rain. And like, just come on out here. So we did. I'm sitting there just going, I can't believe we're sitting here in the rain. And all of a sudden he just starts talking, you know, I love you. It's just, you know, he asked me to marry him, and I'm just like, I am so sorry. And he's like, will you answer me? My knee's getting wet. And I said, yes.
Yeah, that was it. We were married 6 months later.
Yep.
I sang to you, surprised you at our wedding, because you didn't know I was going to do that after our vows. And that was almost 20, will be 20 years ago this coming fall, 19 and a half at this point, and I still love her.
Oh, oh, everybody wants to